This year, Jaren Jackson Jr. has taken a serious leap as a player, evolving from a defensive anchor into a true offensive weapon for the Memphis Grizzlies. That's partly why they've been one of the best teams in the West, and overall, just one of the better teams in the NBA. His early years of his career were defined by his shot blocking, his ability to space the floor, and unfortunately, his inconsistencies as a scorer inside the yard. But this year, that's changed completely. Jaren has finally unlocked some of his offensive potential, and with his already elite defense, to me, it's not even an argument. He's been the best player on the Grizzlies. Yes, even with Ja Morant in the lineup. In the early part of his career, he didn't have the strength nor the finesse to punish defenders in the post, and his finishing around the rim was very inconsistent. Post-ups were very clunky and they were low efficiency, and just overall finishing inside was average at best, and shot creation ability was very limited outside of catch and shoot threes. The issue has been with him was offensively. He didn't have a reliable go-to move outside of hitting spot up threes. Well, until this year. Over the last 2 years, Jackson has added some serious muscle, refined his touch inside, and transformed into an elite post scorer. And when you add that to his defensive dominance and his floor spacing, you're looking at a legit two-way force, unlike anything we've seen before. And I do mean that, because currently he's scoring 1.10 points per possession on post-ups, which ranks in the 90th percentile in the NBA. That's elite efficiency, up there with some of the best big men in the game. Early in his career, like I said, JJJ struggled mightily in the post. He didn't have the strength to establish deep positioning, and when he did, he would rush his moves, or he'll just settle for awkward contested ass layup that just didn't help anybody. That's partly why in the playoffs against the Lakers, against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he really struggled whenever you would put smaller wings on him, and then he had to score in isolation. That really halted the Memphis Grizzlies offense. Yeah, I want you to try that with 2025 Jaren Jackson Jr. Because this Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to go against a former defensive player of the year, Giannis Antetokounmpo, be able to post him up, because 2025 Jaren is going to go right at Giannis Antetokounmpo, create the space he needed, and still finish buckets over him. It's not just Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's look at the current defensive player of the year that's by far and away for most people, being able to get him with this beautiful fake and still be able to finish at the rim. Not many offensive players can do that against some of the best defenders, yet Jaren, who struggled mightily in this department of his offensive game, is somehow, some way turning it into a strength, to the point where some of the best defensive players have no idea what they can do to him to stop him. He's patient. He waits for defenders to make mistakes when they're trying to reach in and try to get the ball early. He's developing counters. He's using fakes, spins, and that footwork to score efficiently. Those counters is very important, because you don't want to be a one-trick pony when the defenders just know it takes one dribble, two dribble, three dribble, then you're going for a drop step. No. You have to add a little bit of variety, which some would call the bag, in your post-ups. But like I said, overall, he's been a great finisher. It's not just post-up situations. Just watch how he goes against Giannis here. He's able to get him with this beautiful hesitation. And look at this layup. No, I lied. He's actually going to be smart and make a high IQ play and pass this to Zach Edey. Because remember what I said, counters are very important as an offensive player. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. So when he had this positioning on Giannis and he could have went for the floater, he instead made the high IQ play and made the pass to Zach Edey. There's times he's going to bring the ball up the floor and just attack opposing offensive players and bully them in the inside. It's kind of funny, because that was one of his biggest weaknesses. He would let defenders bump him out of his spots, put him in unfavorable situations, and he would go for those ridiculous jump hooks that just would never go in. Now, he's not just shooting those jump hooks, he's mixing in up and unders and spins and just straight up power moves that make him nearly impossible to guard one-on-one. That's why we're seeing defenses send more help to him, but it's going to be hard to send more help to him when he's going to be able to make high IQ plays like the one I just gave you. And it doesn't make it any easier, because just like how he has great touch on his hooks, that's just overall what he can do in the floater range. Currently this season, he's shooting 19 of 23 on floaters. That's a ridiculous 82%. People like Trae Young, Tyrese Halliburton don't even shoot that well from floater range. And remember, Jaren Jackson is 6'11". He's a big man shooting that well from floater range. What makes this so valuable is because it fills the gaps between his post-up game and his three-point shots. When defenders cut off his post-ups and he has to just rise up, he can do that and hit soft floaters. When he's attacking off the dribble and instead of forcing a tough finish in the paint when there's multiple defenders there, he can just drop in a runner floater. This what makes him a true 3-level scorer. I know it's not a 3-level scorer in the aspect of he's a great finisher, a great mid-range shooter, and a great 3-point shooter, but you get the point in what I'm saying. He's always been a solid shooter for a big man too. He's shooting right now nearly 36% on threes on a very solid volume. He's always been good as a catch and shooter, but really the development he's having as an off the dribble shooter is really important. He's giving the Grizzlies spacing they desperately needed. And I'm not talking about spacing just as a catch and shooter. I'm talking about spacing when he's attacking closeouts, when he can keep the defense in rotation and make them punish, when he's going to attack the closeout and do those floaters, or when he's going to attack the closeout and make the extra pass. Sometimes people don't value that extra pass, but that's something Jaren is doing more of this season. I know people are going to look at the assist numbers and be like, well, it doesn't look that different to me. His assist numbers look the same, but that's the biggest problem and the biggest discourse. That's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother video, that the value that an extra pass can give to an offense is something I don't think is mentioned enough. A respectable three that people definitely have to take into account. And that's what's crazy, because if you play up on him, he now has the ability to take you inside and punish you. That kind of inside out scoring balance is really rare for a big man, and JJJ is finally putting it all together. And the reason why it's rare, because sometimes when you're adding new elements to your offensive game, knowing when to implement them during the game and during the flow of the game is really hard. Because when these players are in the game, they're not thinking, okay, right here I need to shoot a 3-point shot to keep my average in. Right here I got to drive to the rim so I can keep putting pressure at the paint and putting pressure on the opposing offensive players. Most of the time they're not thinking that. Maybe during the timeouts when the coach is talking to them, or when another player is telling them, hey, you're not being aggressive here, but you're not going to really see that much. Well, JJJ somehow is putting it all together to the point where he's keeping the balance of him putting the pressure at the rim with that newfound strength, while still being able to hit the 3-ball at a respectable rate. And he's still going to be defending at a really high level. I mean, look at the percentage he does when he's around the rim. It's just really hard for players to score at him when he's there, because he's one of the best rim protectors in the league. He's not averaging nearly 3 blocks like he did the past seasons, but arguably I think he's a better rim protector, partly because he's playing the 5 now. He's not getting as many just straight up blocks, but he's getting more contested shots, and to me that's more valuable than just getting a block. This is also a stat to me: the amount you can contest shots at the paint, the amount of times you can switch out to perimeter defenders or wings and be able to get stops or put them in advantageous situations where your other defensive players are getting the stops for you, is really valuable, while being a very smart off-ball defender, rotating, being able to play in passing lanes surprisingly, and contesting without fouling as much as he used to, which is very huge for JJJ, because that's been one of his biggest things on defense. That's one of his flaws. He likes to foul a lot, and to be fair, I don't think he's completely solved the issue, but it has gotten better, because when the Grizzlies are back in the playoffs and hopefully they are fully healthy, that's something JJJ is going to have to fix, because you can't have moments during the games and crucial moments of the games he can't play because he's in foul trouble. That will totally ruin the Grizzlies, because he's been not only the most impactful player for them on the offensive end, not arguable, the most impactful player for them defensively. That newfound offensive game paired alongside with his defense, to me, makes him not only just the best player for the Grizzlies, I think he has a genuine argument to be an all-NBA player. I mean, he's giving you 22 points on great efficiency while still being a top 5 defender in the game. I think that makes a very strong argument to be in the All-NBA spot. To me, it's looking like the Grizzlies have a legit superstar in their hands. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys think JJJ is a superstar, or do you guys think he's going to become one? And when he does, is it going to be in the next year or 2 or 3 years? Let me know that all down in the comment section below. But with that being said, make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit that post notification bell for your boy so you can always be notified whenever more videos like this are uploaded. Check out this video because I'm not completely out with you guys. You better check out this damn video because it was well made. I'm not being biased. Peace out, guys.